There's a peculiar duality in the nature of size perception. Some claim to see no perspective distortion in the world at all. The world appears as it is. There is no distortion visible. This raises the urgent question, do objects in the distance appear smaller by perspective, or do they appear undiminished in size? It turns out that the answer is both. Things in the distance appear smaller by perspective, and yet at the same time they appear undiminished in size. This is direct evidence that experience has a variable representational scale, where the scale of a representation is equal to the distance in the representation relative to the objective distance it represents. To confirm this psychophysically, Steve conducted an experiment at the Scapin's Eye Research Institute to resolve this issue. Subjects were placed in a short hallway and were presented with 3 cardboard models, which they were allowed to examine and manipulate. The subjects were asked which model appears most similar to their subjective experience of the surrounding hallway. The subjects reported that their experience is like models A and B. Not A or B, but A and B. How can this be? The explanation becomes clear when presented with a 4th model D, which was a truncated pyramid like model C, but with grid lines overlaid on all of its surfaces that correspond to the convergence in the model. The reason is that this is the same kind of size duality that is observed in perception, where objects in the distance appear actually smaller, and yet at the same time they are perceived to be undiminished in size, because the size scale itself shrinks with distance from the observer. In other words, subjects make use of a warped representational grid to measure objective judgments of size in the warped subjective world.